right, we welcome into our weekly visit with Joe Maddon called Cup of Joe. Joe, Brian Kenny here. Great to have you back on the show.
Great to see you, BK. What's up?
People thinking, they're probably done with that era stuff. Oh, no, we're not. I'm interested, again, in your decades in the game. We just looked at a bunch of botched plays at first, misplays, and they were all hits. So scoring has gotten more lax or more understanding. Where do you land on that? Do we assess errors correctly today?
Well, I think it has become more lenient. I think you're correct with that. I thought I started to see that a little bit more towards the end of my managerial career. I don't even know if it was an edict, like you said. I think was part of the discussion that the batting average really had taken a dive overall throughout Major League Baseball. I think they were looking to give guys hits. I actually do. I don't. Yeah. It's a human situation. I think it could have been talked about. But one thing about what happened with the Rays, and I knew Bill. Bill was there for years.
Bill Matthews, the official scorer.
Yeah,
okay.
He was at the Trop for years, and we never accused him of being a homer. I promise you that.
Well, you're the home team, though, Joe, right?
Yeah, we never got the hit. We never got the hit. That's my point. Okay. Yeah, we never got the hit. I really thought he was tough, fair. The guy's been in baseball a long time. So, and last point about that, whatever else you want to ask, but I thought if he's going to change it, he had to change it then. You're not going to wait till after the game, possible no-hitter, and then all of a sudden come back and say, no, that was a hit.
Were you good with the timing of it? Because it took him, an inning or 2 innings to get to it, but he did it with Fried still in the game. Is it okay to wait that long, or as long as it's done during the game?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it. I've been in a situation where a play's been overruled one way or the other after maybe an inning or two. Okay. I think he looked at it, and I think part of the discussion was, and I think that he kind of concluded that the runner was going to beat Fried to first base. That's what I saw. The way it was going to the right side, even if he picks that clean, that's tough to plan his swing, throw the ball to first base quickly and accurately. Fried's on a hard run right there, and the ball came up on him. So anyway, I think the runner beats him regardless.
You know, it's funny, as I'm looking at it again, because I thought my mind was made up. This was a hit all the way, and I just watched it there, and I go, oh, no, he could have made that play. And I'm thinking it's an error. So you look at it a dozen times, and you change your thought. I want to get to this now with Ronald Acuña Jr. Now, on Saturday night, Jared Kelenic had a long drive. He was thrown out at second. Here he is. He clearly thinks it's gone, and he Cadillacs it. He does not run, and then he kicks it into gear, and then he gets thrown out. So afterwards, like Mark Bowman, MLB.com, was asked on Twitter, on X, hey, did Brian Snitker, the manager, say anything after the game? And he was asked, he goes, no, he said, should I have benched him? He goes, I really didn't see it. Ronald Acuña then tweeted out, and it's since been taken off, if it were me, they would have taken me out of the game. So he is alluding back to 2019 when Acuña was sat because I think he had a single. He had a ball off the wall. This is in 2019. It's a ball off the wall. It was a single. He Cadillac'd it, got into first, and he was benched by Snitker. Where do you stand on all this, Joe?
Yeah, a lot going on there. First of all, it would be part of your preseason discussion with the group. Mine was respect 90 feet. I always wanted my guys to run hard to first base. That's the first part of it. The second part, if there's an issue, I want to believe my coaches or a veteran player on the team is going to say something before I have to. Third of all, with Acuña, I would want to know, had Snitker had conversations with him in that season on different occasions where he may have not run out a couple balls and kind of warned him in advance. It might have been the second or third or fourth time he had said something. Right. And lastly, how defense did. I mean, sometimes you don't see it. You really don't see it. You're looking elsewhere as the ball's being hit. A guy like Kelenic, you do expect him to run hard all the time. So there's a lot going on there. I just don't like the idea social media-wise. He posts something like this. It comes back to Brian. We have to answer all these questions. Right. I really think that I would bet Snitker had that conversation with Acuña several times before he actually did it.
Right. And I would say this, too. Like, I hadn't given any thought to Acuña being benched for a long time. I also wouldn't have known that Kelenic got thrown out at second because he Cadillac'd it until Acuña pointed them both out. And now they're both in the news, and now Kelenic has been called out nationally. Acuña revisits this, and clearly he has a bee in his bonnet from 6 years ago. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And here's what Brian Snitker said when this was brought to his attention a day later.
If you want to know the truth, I wasn't watching that play. I knew he got thrown out at second. I didn't see it till this morning, and then I talked to him about it.
Okay. Because you had said during Acuña's incident that it's unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it was, and it's yeah, no, yeah. If you don't run, then it's a big time like that, yeah. But I quite honestly, I don't look for him to not do because he plays with his hair on fire all the time and he's laying out. And I didn't know it till I saw this morning. I went in and I looked at it when I got here, and then I had a discussion with him, and we got it squared away.
Well, now Snitker is there saying, you can see, he's saying that Kelenic has equity, right? He works hard, he plays with his hair on fire, so that was one. But he's also saying he didn't see it. Can you miss things and not have anybody tell you about it until the next day, Joe, as a manager?
Normally, if you miss something, somebody's going to say something to you either on the bench or after the game. More than likely. That's been my experience, because there's times I really have not. Davey Martinez would pick up on things I didn't see. Brandon Hyde would pick up on things I did not see, would tell me about it, ask me about it, and then you would address it right afterwards, yes. And for me, like I said, I want David Ross to walk up to him. I want my first base coach to walk up to him during the course of the game. When you set it up properly in spring training, I'm not saying Snit has not set it up properly. That's not my point. But I always encourage my veteran players, if you see something like that, I need and want you to say something at that point, at that moment, because it really carries a lot more weight if you do.
Yeah, and not, put it on X when you're on the IL from
I
far
hate
away.
that stuff.
Makes
Yeah,
no sense for a guy of his stature, too. One last thing. We saw 2 collisions, Joe, over the weekend. Rowdy Tellez crushed Alan Roden of the Blue Jays, and then Mauricio Dubon crushed Luis Arraez coming in. Just collisions at first base. It happens. Should there be a safety bag at first base? How do you try to avoid some of these things that clearly happen, not often, but now and then on the baseball field?
Well, right there, the throw took him into that particular area right there. This one here's a tough one to watch. I don't think you need a wider base. No, I just think this is an unfortunate situation. The base, we've already made the base wider in an effort to prevent tough moments like this. It's just, I think it's
But Joe, that gives you a lot more leeway. You don't think that base would help avoid that stuff?
Of course, it probably could help avoid that stuff, but that looks awful. I just don't. I mean,
that bothers you? The guys are laughing. Ronnie, that bothers you?
It bothers me, and I think it's even tougher for umpires. Yeah, I don't like it. I think it's not necessary. Let me put it under the category.
We should showdown this then. We're going to have to
showdown.
showdown. I think it looks fine. But Ronnie and Steve are there going, no, this is terrible.
Bad form.
All right. I have a lot more things here, but we're out of time. Joe, good stuff. Thank you so much. No. We want to dig deep into the culture and get into this. All the unwritten rules need to be written eventually. Joe, thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Take care, brother.
Pete Alonso is just not cooling off. Is Pete Alonso going to not get a long-term deal that he wanted and then go back to his team and win an MVP? Is Pete Alonso here to stay?
I'll tell you what, Greg, yes. I watched him in spring training hit a ball right center field, and I went, this looks like his rookie year. And then all of a sudden, this is what he was doing his rookie year in 2019. This is before all the home run derbies. We talked about that before, and you had a great point on that. And everybody thought, oh, he's a home run hitter, and Pete kind of fell into that. This guy could hit. When he came out of the University of Florida, I remember going to that first spring training he was at, and I was like, who is this dude? And he was rocketing balls the other way. Why is that so important? Because it would keep him on the baseball longer. When you're thinking homer, you have a tendency to pull off. But he's so strong, and I think this playoff home run was like, okay, I know what I can do. Now we're watching him drive the ball in the gap. I'll drive some runs in, no problem. But if you make a mistake, I'm going to hurt you. He's just playing middle to middle, gap to gap, because he knows what he's capable of doing. And if Pete Alonso stays on the ball, this guy is not a 220 hitter.
No.
He's a 280 hitter. And that's what he's capable of doing. I think whoever got to him, whether it could be Pete himself, he's figured out, let me get back to what I was doing, and he's running like Dan, please action.
Oh, man.
I mean,
he's low flying right there.
Those are the things. But I love what we're seeing from Pete. I love that there's a fighter in him. I love that he's been in New York City. They embrace him. It's a different place to play. But I love the fact he's staying up the middle because he's strong enough to do anything.
And the funny thing is, everyone's like, oh, man, it must be a luxury to hit behind Juan Soto. Well, there's also pressure that comes along with hitting behind Juan Soto. You got guys on base. It's not just Soto. Francisco Lindor has found it again. He might actually make it into our great race for NL MVP.
He never really lost it, though, did he?
Well, first week he was ice cold. You have 2 MVP candidates hitting in front of you. So if you pitch around Lindor and Soto, pressure's on the polar bear, and he is foaming at the mouth.
And that's what's significant about playing in New York, because he's felt the pressure. Now imagine if he was new, coming into New York City, and he's not driving runs in. They're booing him as a guy who's getting ready to break all the records.
Right.
He doesn't. So imagine the pressure. He's learned how to deal with that. This isn't the first time he's had to protect the star. He had Lindor.
Right.
You know, he's had different guys along the way.
He's leading the National League in RBIs.
Go ahead,
We
Pete.
all are huge polar bear fans here in the National Pregame Show.